Howdy folks, it's Glenn with the Cactus Atlas, and today I'm going to be driving a stretch of West Texas that straddles the US-Mexico border through Big Bend Ranch State Park. We're going to be making a few stops along the way, taking in some scenery and enjoying the border, the unprotected border that you see right here. On the other side of this greenery, that's Mexico, for real. And today's adventure is really focused on driving up a scenic route Route 170. I hear it's supposed to be quite spectacular, and it truly just does follow the border of US and Mexico the whole way. So to the right, we're entering Presidio County, by the way. To the right is the US, and really to the left is Mexico. And that's the way it's gonna be on this whole stretch. And I'm hoping we get better views of the Rio Grande, because, oh yeah, I see some water flowing. There's not much, but let's pull off over here and let's get a better look at the river that we didn't get before. The thing that I find most exciting about this, other than the beautiful scenery, is we're really on the border of two countries, an unprotected border, a natural border, divided by a river, which I'm trying to find for you. Trying to find a way down to the banks of the Rio Grande, and not doing a very good job so far. I'm really having a hard time finding access to get down there, but now you can see that's the mighty Rio Grande, which ain't so mighty anymore. It doesn't really flow like it used to. But the important thing is another country is truly a stone's throw away if I could get down there. Okay, so we've entered officially Big Bend Ranch State Park, not the national park. It is different. I hear this is a fantastic place, and we are going to get off on foot in a couple places and do some hiking today, but mainly just wanted to enjoy the scenic drive that straddles the US-Mexico border and follows the course of the Rio Grande virtually the whole way up Route 170. And this is some beautiful country, folks. I mean, if you can't already tell now, then I don't know what else I can do for you. So if you knew me, I like to fancy myself a pretty independent thinker. I don't align with, different ideas just to align with one side or the other. The concept of immigration is such a polarizing issue, and I'm not here to debate one over the other, one side over the other. I'll let you guys come to your own decisions, and I'm not trying to instigate battles in the comments or anything like that. We truly are here just to enjoy this absolutely beautiful scenic drive. And on the left, you see all that greenery. That's where the Rio Grande is. So quite truly, on the other side of the greenery, since we can't see water, is Mexico. So those really big cliffs in front of us, I'm almost positive that's Mexico, because the Rio Grande ain't gonna go straight through that, and we're always gonna be to the right of the river. The river will be on the left. But let's take a spot. We're gonna get off at several overlooks on this journey and get some nice pictures and just enjoy the day. All right, the scenery is really starting to open up now, and another fantastic view of the Rio Grande, the very feeble Rio Grande. And you can see, on the left side of that bank, that the other side is Mexico. I'm gonna keep saying that because it just, for some reason, that amazes me. So if my obsession with the Southwest National Park, state parks, and anything in between isn't enough for you to convince you that I'm a naturalist, I enjoy the outdoors, and that's probably one of the things that's most important to me in life. To me, it's a hard thing to stomach thinking of a border wall being built here in this area. It would just be a scar in a landscape aesthetically. Politics aside, I hope most of you would agree. And here we go. I have a feeling things are about to get really beautiful now as we go deeper into Big Bend Ranch State Park. This is a really immense park, by the way. We're on the western border of the park. We're not really going to go deep into the park. We are going to go off-road in a couple places on our journeys, but not too far off the main path. So far this is really starting to rival, for me, Big Bend National Park. Although I'd still say Big Bend National Park with the Chizos Mountains and some of the other features is the winner still, but there's something over here that I think I saw that I want to go check out really quick. Might be one of our stops for the day. I was expecting to see a sign. Oh, there we go. There's the sign. I was almost going to stop prematurely. Something over here that's cool. It's an old movie set. And let me park here, I guess. And we will hike on down. At first it appears that you need a permit to go see the movie set, but you actually don't. You just need permits for camping and going into the river and stuff like that. No drinking of alcohol. And this is just going to show you that I think other movies have been filmed here, and there's lots of like native history, lots to see in this area. And first things first though, let's go see the remnants of this movie set. I don't know, is Contrabando a United States movie, a Mexican movie? I feel like I should know it, but all I read was this is a movie set from a movie called that. So if you've seen the movie, I guess this will probably mean more to you than it does to me. And there's one of the structures left over from the movie, part of the movie set, and I could see why they would have chose this with that kind of scenery in the background, because that is a money shot right there. We'll go poke our heads in here and see what we can see. I'm sure not much. Not sure the significance of that. The wood looks pretty worn, so I wonder when this movie was made. But the inside is pretty, got a lot more detail than I would have thought. So I wonder if they filmed inside also. That's my guess. There's even like an old bar on this side. Makes me wonder, was that part of the movie? Man, I really wish I took time to do more research now before coming here. So if you guys know, of course, comment and let me know. And so far, still not a single human being out in this region other than me. I'm all alone, and I'm having a blast. And here's the mighty Rio Grande, and I say that a little sarcastically. Let's go down to the banks, and right there on the other side should be Mexico. It's just weird how like there's pools of water, so clearly this thing flows, but it's really drying up. And here's a little bit of water. What remains of the Rio Grande, at least today. And I'm ignorant, so I don't know if what I'm doing is not supposed to be done, but I think I'm standing in Mexico, looking across at the United States now, on the other side of the river. All right, let's walk back up to this movie set. And I saw a restroom, so I don't know if that was a movie set restroom or a real restroom, but I'm gonna find out, because I need to use the men's room really quick. Crossing the border. Luckily, I'm going the correct way, the country of my citizenship. Hopefully I don't get in trouble. I don't think I will. I mean, what could I possibly do? I'm being summoned up to the top here, so I'm probably in trouble now. All right, so what was that all about? You know, I got summoned by a park ranger is what that ended up being. I thought it was Border Patrol at first, and I thought they saw me because I walked across like in the riverbed, and I was like, oh my God, am I gonna get arrested or what's gonna happen? I was my heart was thumping, but it was a really innocent thing. Basically, the guy was super cool, really nice guy. He's a park ranger here at the state park, and he just saw the car parked on the side and noticed that I did not have a permit. So he basically just said, I need to turn around and go back to, there's a visitor center that I passed on the way in that I just kind of stopped. I didn't think you needed a permit. So let me be a lesson to you, just so you don't inconvenience yourself and waste a lot of time. make sure you pick up a permit, or else they're just going to make you turn around and go back and buy one. So fair enough. I mean, that's a totally fair request. I also asked the ranger, theoretically, what is the protocol? Like, what happens if I walked across and put my foot on Mexican soil like I did? And he said, really nothing. He said if the Mexican authorities took issue with it, they could technically do something. Not that I really saw any authorities on that side of the river. There's nothing there. But he said, yeah, the U.S. patrol's not really going to bother or do anything about it. So I guess the long story short is that's probably the only time I'm going to do that today, because I don't want to end up in a Mexican jail. Doubtful that I would, but so I guess I did it, and I went to a different country, or I stuck a 1 foot, I guess, in a different country, depending on where the dividing line is, which I should have asked him, darn it. I'll ask the visitor center though. Okay, so now that we're back on track, I got some information from the ranger about the attractions that I want to see. I think because of the backtrack, I am gonna have to skip one thing today, which was another movie location, but nothing that seemed like crazy amazing. A film location from a movie called Fandango from 1985 with Judd Nelson and Kevin Costner. I've never seen it, so probably another reason why not to worry about going to see it. But the other two things I think we're gonna do are a couple hikes. So we've got several miles of hiking, and I need to stay on schedule. So I think I'm gonna make a beeline towards the first of the hiking locations. According to the ranger, one of them is the only place with any real shade in this whole entire state park. And it'll make sense when you see it, I think. And no, it's not a cave. Man, I think I could just roll the GoPro on the windshield through this thing, and that would be good enough. Absolutely beautiful country back here. These roads are very windy. They go up and down, really abrupt drops. If you like roller coasters, then you'd love this road. This road is a little bit of a roller coaster ride. Look at that. It's very fun, steep drops with gigantic mountains to make you feel small. Okay, so that's the Grassy Banks River access. I saw that on a map. So let's see, I'm looking at my map while I talk to you. The ranger highlighted where I want to go. I think, oh, she did recommend a scenic overlook before I get to the hike, which I'm going to take her up on that, called Big Hill. So I'm going to guess we've got a couple more miles, and then we'll get to that scenic overlook and take a look. I spy something up ahead that is kind of kooky and worthy of a stop, I think. It's just a picnic area, but they've got these interesting teepee structures that are worth a look, I think. Yeah, this is a beautiful little roadside picnic area. One of the finest I have ever seen, I have to say. I love the design of these little shaded pavilions, teepee structures. It's another one right over there. I'm curious, what is this made of? I thought it would be metal, but it's like concrete. Okay, we're leaving the teepees picnic area now. Right when I packed it up, a couple people pulled up and started their picnic lunch. So it does get use. We're heading towards Big Hill now, so I think it's coming up pretty soon. But it looks like we're entering this canyon now. Fantastic looking canyon. Enjoying it in the air condition of my vehicle. Oh wow. So I'm excited now to see what this scenic view is. There's one up here. I don't know if this is considered the Big Hill viewing area. So it looks like it might be worth a quick stop. See if we see anything here. I don't think this is the Big Hill viewing area proper, but probably get a really good view of the Rio Grande. This is a fantastic view of the Rio Grande. The very dry Rio Grande still, but this canyon is very pretty, and there's some kind of like rusted out thing down there. I don't know what that is. If it was a vehicle, looks like almost like a oil tanker truck. And I don't know, down there, it just looks like murky, gross green water. I have to imagine though that at times of the year this is, I saw like river entry for like float trips and stuff like that. So I have to imagine there are times of the year where this thing flows nicely. Just not now in the hot months. As far as border walls go, I think I pointed this out in another place called Boquillas Canyon in Big Bend National Park. You don't get much of a better wall than these canyon walls, do you? My joke was, if they really want to do it, they should fabricate canyons like this. So at least you get the natural beauty. I wonder how they would even do a wall here if you think of the logistics of it, because like you're on the sloped hill. So I guess your best bet is you'd have to build a wall like in the riverbank. Or you'd have to, I guess, get rid of ditch Route 170 and build the wall along this thing. But why? Because you got like this almost inaccessible hill here. I guess you could climb that, but logistically, folks, I don't know. I'm struggling to see how that would work really well. I think I see why they call this Big Hill. This is a big hill. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of people. I saw this whole group traveling together back in another place. There's not even a place to park over there. There is this over here though, so I'm gonna snag this spot because this looks absolutely amazing over here. We gotta get some photos of this, hopefully before that big group swarms me. Oh yes, another fantastic view of the US-Mexico border here in Big Bend Ranch State Park. You can see for miles and miles. It's nice and breezy up here too. I would say this is probably the best visual of the US-Mexico border, seeing it from up high and seeing the Rio Grande and really seeing the boundary between two countries, that line, that green line almost, natural green line carving through the landscape. And for my coworker that was worried that I was entering a war zone of sorts, if you're out there watching this, do you still think that now? We will discuss. Who knew the US-Mexico border could be such a beautiful place like this? I was ignorant. I honestly had no idea. I have never really spent a lot of time pondering this area of the country or thinking about it. I heard of Big Bend National Park. That's about it. Quite honestly, I just geographically, it didn't click. I didn't know exactly what it was all about, and now I do. Okay, so this is rated as an easy to moderate hike. It's about a little more than a half mile one way, so 1.5 miles total, we'll call it. And it goes through a slot canyon that has walls that are about 15 stories high. I think I see the canyon opening right down that way. So the trail comes down to this wash, and I could see many footprints that have been here before me. So probably a pretty popular trail. It's got really deep, gritty, kitty litter-like gravel in here. Reminds me like of that crater in Death Valley, Ubehebe crater. It feels like I'm walking in that same volcanic material, even though I don't think this is, but it is like walking in kitty litter. Feet are slipping a lot, but at least I'm walking on flat, level ground and not up a really steep hill. Okay, I haven't gone around the corner yet, so I'm expecting a reveal of some sort, so hopefully we're not disappointed. Oh yeah, look at that, it's a slot canyon, all right. How cool. kind of wide compared to some of the ones that I have done in the past. But this is pretty cool. And I see what the ranger's talking about. The only real shade in this whole park, she said. She's right, I think. And yeah, the gravel's giving way to like this hard rock. And I can hear my voice echoing in here. I actually usually complain about breezes because when I'm trying to film, it makes a lot of ruckus. But boy, does that breeze shooting through here in this shady corridor feel amazing. It's like a natural air conditioner. It's a lot cooler than it is out there. It was 94 according to my car's temperature gauge, which ain't bad compared to yesterday when I was hiking around Boquillas Canyon and my car said it was 108 degrees. So I'll take this. This is like a nice spring day to me. And not every spot down here has shade, so it gets a little hot and toasty. For sure. How many of you folks in Texas knew you had a slot canyon in your state? And are there other ones other than this one that I don't know about yet? You know what to do if you have information for me. See lizards every once in a while traversing the walls of this thing. Like me, I'm following the path of the lizard. Oh yeah, this thing's starting to descend. You wouldn't want to be here when it's raining. And horsefly, get off of me, horsefly. This is neat. This is much more slot canyon-y than the first part. Starting to really narrow up the further we go. I have to imagine I went past the recommended point or something because I've been hiking more than a half mile up to this point for sure. But it gets better and better. Although one of these times I might come across an impassable obstacle. Not sure. Lots of things like this and I'm gonna have to climb back up. But, oh, you know what? I made it. So the completionist in me is pleased. I would say as far as slot canyons go, I'd rate Closed Canyon, I'd give it a C+. If you see some of our other videos, go check out our video on Little Wild Horse Canyon. And that's a good beginner level slot canyon. That's just amazing to do. I'm trying to think of another one that's good. Cathedral Wash is another one that I did that like amazed me. A lot prettier color, a lot cooler formations like shapes and things like that. But this was really cool. So don't get me wrong, a C+ I still think is good, but this has some really stiff competition. So that's why I say this. But as far as what I've seen in the park, I mean, I would say this is a must do. This makes me think of when I think of like old cartoons like Pecos Bill. I keep mentioning him. One of the legends is that Pecos Bill, and I don't remember if it was a mule or a horse, but he and his mule or horse were out here in this area of the country and really thirsty with no water, and the two of them formed the, or he made the Rio Grande so they could drink. It's kind of a Paul Bunyan type of character, like American folklore. See signs for other canyons in here. So much to explore, and like I said, we are on the outer boundary of this park, just following its western edge. And the land area of this park is huge. You probably need four-wheel drive high clearance to explore a lot of the areas, but I tell you what, if you're gonna go down to Big Bend National Park and you need to head back north, why not take this route? I mean, even if you don't stop to get out, it's worth it just for the scenic drive alone. Because the views have been spectacular this whole ride. I've not been disappointed once. All right, this next thing that I wanted to stop at is called the Hoodoos. Got to go up this weird dirt road. Oh, that was a little rough. Looks like we have another visitor here today. It's actually nice to see other people for once. All right, and there's the feature known as the Hoodoos. down below, and hoodoos are typically like little rock spire formations like that. There's a couple neat ones off in the distance over there. Hoodoos. And also from up here you can see the Rio Grande winding its way down, so if we were to walk down to the bottom, that other side across the way is Mexico again. There is a mile-long trail and you can kind of see it winding down and going down the hill. I think it's gonna come down and around and take you up close to the hoodoos, but I'm actually thinking the view up here is really good. And I'm also looking, on the hillside. I don't know if you could see it over there. I've seen lots of really good color today, like pink, blue, some of the colors that I would see in Death Valley almost. And the view over this way is spectacular, and you could see hawks flying over the river. Very picturesque. I bet you Pecos Bill isn't far away. Normally I am a completionist about things and wouldn't miss a hike, but I really am short on time now, especially because of the backtracking. So this is one compromise we're gonna make today. And the reason why I'm choosing this is, if you've seen our channel, we've been to Bryce Canyon. We've seen hoodoos all over the place, Chiricahua. So even though these are really neat, it is a beautiful landscape. We've seen much more fantastic than that on our journeys. So I think this, for us, if I had more time, I'd do it, but I'm gonna take a few pictures and hit the road again. Okay, so I've made my final stop at a place called Fort Leaton State Historic Park. Not gonna film that on this episode, but the reason why I wanted to kind of end the episode here is I think this is the other place that you would come to buy a permit if you want to go south into Big Bend Ranch, so you don't run into the same situation I did and then get asked to turn back and come buy something. So I was curious because I left Big Bend Ranch State Park quite a ways back there, several miles back, and didn't see a visitor center. Well, that explains it. The other little piece of advice I want to give you is when I got my permit at the other side, she said, hey, take your receipt and you can show this here and they'll let you in. So this is going to be part of another episode that I'm doing on the history of West Texas, like ghost towns, things like that. But as for us on this episode, we did our duty. We went through the park up 170, saw some stuff along the way, and it was a fantastic time. So I hope you had as much fun as I did.